Hey guys, it's me Delta1 here with God's Airsofters, and today I have a review for you of the Cm057 also known as just a Dragunov SVD. I'm going to call it throughout the review. And I want to give a special thanks to Airsoft Station for sending this to me. I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have more guns from them in the future, like more in the fall area, because I'm just so busy with work. That's why I've been able to post any videos, and this first chance I've got. And I do apologize if I seem really sweaty if the camera picks that up. It is ridiculously hot in here in this garage. There's no AC or airflow. So anyways, let's move on to the review. Here is the box. It just literally, it's flipped inside out. It's made to get through customs quicker. It just has a sticker. It says that. So as you open the box, I shall move this now here. You have some styrofoam. This is the good styrofoam. This is stuff you want to see in your box because it's better for shipping purposes. This is what it looks like. Your manual's right there. Here's what it looks like in the box. Very well packaged. I would not worry about it coming broken during shipping. So I'm going to get all this stuff out of the box, show you what it comes with. So now that everything is out of the box, here's what it comes with. A really crappy trickle charger, 8.49 nickel hydrate, 1100 milliamp battery. It's 8.4. 200 round high capacity magazine. A manual that has lots and lots of Chinglish. Actually, that doesn't have any Chinglish at all because it's just a diagram of how you disassemble it. That's different. And a pack of bad BBs. Don't use this. So you have the gun itself. So let's move on to the metal and polymer components. This is, again, the Cyma Dragunov. So Cyma is known for their AK, so this should be good. First off, I'm just going to list the two polymer components. Foregrip and the stock. Everything else is metal. An exception for the pad that should have a metal wood piece under here with leather on it, and this little plastic tip here. Everything else is metal. So next thing I want to go over is the steel components, which is the most important part to this review in my opinion. So I'm going to take my SRC Ridiculous Torque motor, which is a very strong magnet, so this should bring out the absolute most in the steel in this gun. So work our way to the sling mount. That is steel. The top cover is. The receiver is. The magazine. The selector switch. The switch that releases the top cover. The trigger guard. The trigger. Magazine release. Bolt is not. The side isn't. The gas tube assembly. Barrel is not. Sight and flash hider are not. And the butt plate is steel. The side mount is steel, which is integrated into the gun, which means that, if you don't know what I mean, most AKs have a side plate on them for mounting a side rail, and that's normally bolted or riveted in. This is built on the gun. So it's not screwed in or riveted in. So let's talk about the features. It's a Dragunov. So it's pretty bland and basic. It is just like an AK. The selector switch does what a selector switch does. Safe and semi-automatic. There's no full auto on this, thank God. The removable cheek pad, which can fit on wired stock AKs, not the underfolders, the side folders only. You have the sling mount here, which does seem semi-trustworthy. I haven't been able to put a sling on it yet, but I would recommend rigging up some other sling. And the sling mount on the front here, which is not steel, so little iffy on the trustworthy part on that. But if it was just to carry it, that's fine. Now the trigger, just a trigger guard, bolt, you pull it back, which exposes the hop-up unit. It is a real sword hop-up unit and has a nice clank to it instead of a cheesy sound, which is just stupid. Then you have your sights. They have the Russian numeral for 0, and then it goes all the way up to 1200, which is ridiculous because I don't think you would ever be able to see it. I don't think you'd be able to see anything at 1200 meters or yards or whatever the Russians use. Now the magazine is steel. The next thing I want to talk about this magazine though is that it is, since this is a copy of the real sword, if I did not mention that, this is a high cap, which I find rather annoying, because the last thing I want when I'm sniping is a nice maraca going on, being like, hey, I'm having a fiesta over here. Come find me. This will fit in a real sword, so if you're looking for spare real sword mags, this will fit. There are some minor modifications you have to do. You have to Dremel some here and there, and it should fit as well. I did not test real sword mags in this yet, but I will have a comparison as soon as possible. Again, the front handguards are polymer, and it is not a cheap polymer. I do want to say this. You do get to see the seams, but it doesn't feel like it's going to break on you. It feels nice and sturdy. You don't feel any creakiness in it like you do some polymer components on other guns. It feels sturdy. There's a minor bit of wobble, nothing some electrical tape can't fix. But here is the lever which you push in and then pull down, and this comes apart. I'll link the real sword battery installation video in the description that I posted a little while ago. The same rules apply here. That's how you install it. Now, they have a gas tube adjuster, or it's a gas valve, whatever you want to call it. This, on the real one, serves a purpose of making it semi-auto and bolt action mode, so to say. Now, you may be wondering, what the heck does it, how? Basically what it does is it shuts the hole that pushes gas back to push the bolt back to make it semi-automatic. And what this does is improves accuracy by having less moving parts. For airsoft, it serves absolutely no purpose at all. So, that's unfortunate. Another feature is that they kind of, they tapped in the gas tube assembly, I believe is the proper term to call it. They drilled, like, kind of into the barrel, but it's like half, and they put, like, metal rods through it, so it doesn't wobble at all, which is a lot more preferable than just having it screwed into the barrel like that. That is much better. That's what they did with the sight, and you have a bayonet and adjustable sight, rear and front sight. The flash hider looks like it is removable, but if you do remove it, the front sight goes as well. So if you want to put some PVC pipe on it for whatever reason, I don't know why you'd want to. The barrel's 650. It's basically a 650 barrel in it. It will fit completely fine. There's really no reason to. So, I mean, that really lists all the features, so I'm going to go on to the internal reports. Internal reports. This is a direct copy of... It's not a complete direct copy. However, it is a modified version of the real sword, and by modified, it's a little more part friendly, which is good. It has 4 gears, it has a short type motor, and it has a 19-tooth piston, so you can put SR25 full metal rack pistons in here with some minor modifications. Nothing too hard. If you're a semi-experienced tech, you could probably get away with it if you know how to use a Dremel tool. Now, it has 4 gears. There's the bevel, and then there's a secondary spur, and then there's the regular spur, and then there's a sector. The regular 3 gears, like the regular spur, sector, and bevel, can be replaced with any gear set. As long as it can mesh up properly with the second spur gear, you should have no problems. There's CYMA gears, there's basically XYT, so I don't see any reason why you can't run an M150 on here. If you do, that requires more modifications, more parts, and all that, new motor, and all that. But since it has 4 gears, it makes it easier to pull back the springs, so there's less stress. Now, again, it's a sniper. If you buy this gun, you're going to do loads of upgrades. So that's probably what you're going to end up doing. So that's what I recommend. But anyways, overall internals, it's got a ridiculously long barrel, like 650 you can fit in it. Hop-up is a real sword style, so it's finding spare hop-up units would be hard, but I don't ever see why you'd have to buy a new one. So it's really accurate, just out of the box. So, I mean... Other than that, that's pretty much it for the internal reports. So it's got a brass barrel. It's just your standard Chinese barrel. So let's move on to my personal opinions. My personal opinion. This is really light compared to the real sword. Now, I find it so hard to compare this to a real sword. Because if you've ever picked up a real sword, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can't really compare something to a real sword. This is lighter. It is steel though, but I feel that it's probably a less quality steel from a real sword, but you gotta also take it to in mind that real sword really is kind of a really high benchmark to compare something to. So, I mean, the steel in here is fine. I don't know what material the outer barrel is made out of because the real swords is steel. This may be pot metal or aluminum, which is a thing you really need to take into consideration when you're moving around. Be careful on trying not to hit your barrel. If this is pot metal, this will crack. So just be really careful with that. But, I mean, other than that, this gun is the best Cyma gun I have ever held, personally. The quality on it, and just the craftsmanship. I mean, it's just unbelievable. When I first picked this up, when Mikey and I picked it up, we were like, this is Cyma? What? This is crazy. I mean, Cyma, they normally have their little imperfections here and there, but I don't see anything. The only thing I can really see and complain about is there's a seam on the inner part of the stock. But, I mean, this is fantastic. This is, if you want an SVD, this is the one to get that's electric. Because, for one, it's more affordable than most of the other SVDs on the market. Two, it's upgradable, which is the biggest pro. Most other SVDs are kind of weird and stuff. This one I know you can go somewhere with. This has a lot of upgrade potential. It's compatible with Romanian PSO scopes and other Russian optics and all that. So, I mean, I really think this is a great Cyma. And I'm not saying this because I'm sponsored. I'm saying this as an AK enthusiast and Russian weaponry enthusiast. This is probably the best Cyma I've ever gotten my hands on. And I've owned many Cymas. I have a wall of AKs in my room. I have had the Cyma RPK, I've had the Cm048, I've had the Cm050, I've had the Cm035, Cm036, I've had the Cm031D, I've had the Cm028, I've had the Cm028S, I've even had Cm030, which is their Glock, I've had Cyma M14s. I'm just telling you because I say this from experience. This is the nicest craftsmanship Cyma I have ever seen. It's fantastic. I recommend this to any AK enthusiast. Anyone who's looking into getting this. So, that's my personal opinions. I would totally buy one of these. If I was a sniper, I would buy this in a heartbeat. But I have a real sword. Even then, I would still buy one. So, let's go to the final conclusion. You're getting a properly made SVD for way under $500. The reason I don't mention prices is because our currency fluctuates constantly with China, and I just don't want to be misinformative. But right now, this is under the $300 marker, for sure. It may be even $20, $30 less at this moment in time. This is a fantastic gun. My biggest con is this high cap. That is my biggest con. And other than that, the polymer's fine. It's extremely light compared to a real sword. This may be heavy for a regular sniper, but this, if you've ran with a real sword, this is a paperweight. It is extremely light. It's made properly. It's a great SVD. I recommend this to anyone that's looking into getting an SVD. I would recommend this to someone who is a beginner, because there are things that you need to do to sniper rifles to get them to shoot properly. I would probably recommend this to, higher experienced intermediate to expert, because of it's a sniper, or if you just want to buy this as a wall hanger, you can. But I completely recommend this. There is a link to Airsoft Station where I thank you again, guys, for sending this to me. I know there's a lot of people out here who've been excited to see my review of this because of my extensive knowledge in the AK department and Russian weaponry, and I completely am astounded by the way this thing is made, and I recommend it to any sniper that's got experience under the belt. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Again, buy it at airsoftstation.com, link in the description, along with my Facebook, vlog channel, forum, Airsoft Talk. All that information is in the description, along with the battery installation video. The chrono video will be coming soon. I will have this posted as soon as possible. And guys, life is good, and I'll see you in the next video.